Podcast. I hope y'all been having motion all week. Y'all been manifesting. Continue to do what y'all do and do it how y'all do it. Having y'all way, having y'all own thoughts. You know what I mean? But this is episode 16, motivation. We got a special guest coming on in a few. And I got my co-host, my partner, Third Eye Sly, about to jump in a minute. Oh, there he is right there. Go and bring my boy in. Made this week as well.
I see yo.
Oh man, what it do, bro?
Shit, man. Another day, man. I like to say it's your player partner Sly, aka Jack Carter, man. Welcome to the Underdog Podcast. And before I even get started, man, I would like to say Happy Earth Day to everybody out there, man. Happy Earth Day. How you
Oh
doing,
yeah,
bro?
man. Hey, it makes sense though. Like you say, the new year is in March. Earth Day happens to
Yeah,
fall
man.
before May. You know what I mean? So it's feeling good out there outside too, bro. Like man, I was soaking in
Yeah.
all that sun, dog. You know what I mean?
I just got back from inside, man. This the spring equinox right now, man. So, this is a real New Year's, feel me?
That part.
For a lot of people don't understand what we're talking about, you know, according to the Gregorian calendar, they like to fool us to think that New Year's in December, but that's false because nature is dead in winter. Everybody knows the plants and the trees shit don't grow when it's cold outside. So the new year roll around, when the spring comes back, it's a new beginning because everything grows and birds come out from hibernation and you know what I mean? It's time to eat. New
Everything started
Year's, man.
emerging. Everything growing from the ground right now. So that's why you can go
Yeah,
outside and plant into the earth. You know, you can create a lot of things, a lot of stuff that we go buy at the store per se.
that part,
Man.
man. Don't you know it's kind of weird that like right now, currently in Ethiopia, it is 2014. You know what I
You hit
mean?
me over the head with that.
2014. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, bro. You can Google this shit right now. Google will tell you this. It's 2014 in Ethiopia. Why is that? Because they don't go by the Gregorian calendar.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that right there should let y'all know time is just an illusion.
Hey, so pretty much I could time travel right now and go to Ethiopia. I'll be back in 2014.
You know what I'm saying? And then look, Pete, when you come back to the States, god damn it, you back to the future. You know what I'm saying?
Dog, that's crazy. That might be
Yeah,
why they
man.
made that movie like that too. I mean, but that
Facts,
digs a little deeper though, with that movie.
you
But
know.
yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
can be one of the reasons, man. But man, I'm feeling good right now because the Underdogs podcast is now on Signature Series Network. You know what I mean? Man,
Yes,
it's
that's
it's
Signature
big
series with the Z. Series
with
with the
the
Z.
Z. SignatureSeriesTV.com. We are now in rotation on the Indie Talk Show, and we will be premiering on Prime TV for coming May. So, yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all tap in with them. And also, big shout out to Blaze Hunter, K Will, and Mr. Cooper for the opportunity. You know what I mean? We got to shout the team out.
Most definitely, bro. Most definitely.
Like I say, as I was saying, man, we got a special guest, a motivational speaker we bringing on right now. And let me chime him in while he in here. I just seen he jumped in. There he is.
What's going on, everybody?
What's
Yeah,
good,
what's up,
brother?
man? Blessings, blessings.
So, man, we appreciate you coming on the Underdogs podcast, man. Like I say, we got Keith Anderson Jr., motivational speaker for students, athletes, churches, schools, and other topics. He's doing like self-worth, perseverance, goal setting. He got a bachelor's in science and criminal justice. Shout out to Virginia State University. And most recently just obtained his Master's of Divinity degree from Virginia Union University. But overall, you know, his approach is to motivate the lives of everyone he comes into contact with to ensure they are living on their own terms and also making a difference at the same time. So welcome, brother. We appreciate you, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for inviting me on to even spend some time with y'all this afternoon.
No doubt, man.
Definitely,
Appreciate
man.
you.
So like I say, man, we honored to have you on today's episode, you know, and for those who don't know Keith Granderson Jr., in 30 seconds, what would you like to share with yourself, you know, to the people?
30 seconds. If they don't know who I am, uh, I'm a persevere. I'm a person that has to persevere through a lot that I've been through in my life. I'm a motivator. I'm a go getter. I don't let my challenges get in the way of who I'm trying to be.
Big facts. That's real. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's how a lot of people got to look at everything. You know, we all got problems. We all got stuff we deal with, but it's not allowing that to hold like weight on you or have energy to stop your progress. You know, and so we gonna start it from the ground up, man. Like you know, like the foundation of the accolades you built. You know, which all started in what, Ettrick, Virginia,
Yes, sir.
born
Yes,
here.
sir.
So
Yes,
man,
sir.
share with us what it's like growing up in Petersburg, Virginia, for those who don't know.
yeah,
Growing up in Ettrick, man, it was we folks that live in Ettrick. It's a small village, and we it's like a big family network. It's not much that is it's a family network. That's growing up in Ettrick. It was one of those places that um it set the stage for who I was, who I am. You know what I mean? It gave me my sense of being. You know, it is right there and smack dead Virginia State University. I mean,
Big
that's
fact.
right. Um, Ettrick train station is right there. You know what I mean? So I had things. You know what I mean? So that's what I grew up in, and that's the environment that I knew. My grandmother worked at the local elementary, so you know what I mean. Like, and when I tell people who my grandmother was, people knew my family. So that it was a small knit family. It was very respectful. It was a very respectful area. You know what I mean? Ettrick, Matoka area. You know somebody from that area. You it's like we know everybody. You know each other. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Well,
right. Small town.
small area, right? We all went to school together. Because it's like right there. We were right
Yeah.
there together. So I mean, that's what it was.
No, man, and then sometimes it's good to have that type of foundation because you know the network of everybody being close together to be able to help one another. You
Yep,
know,
and
versus
uh,
when you grow up in a big city and after a while, you know, you have your people that you close to, but then they end up being a situation where like everybody for themselves. You
right,
know.
and I was one of those that was lucky to still live in the area that I grew up in, and it gave me
Yeah.
an opportunity to still make moves. You know how they say everybody else sometimes you got to go away to become who you want to be.
Yeah,
Not for me.
Man, no lie.
Not not,
yeah,
not for me. And
Yeah.
me and Terry was just having that conversation earlier this morning. How we had to go. How he had to come from Florida to get to
Yeah.
Virginia State. So we was just having that conversation, but not for me.
Yeah.
That I grew up right on the. I grew up right behind the campus of Virginia State, and so I stayed right in my area. Still made moves happen, and I'm grateful for that.
Nah, that's dope, man. Because that's one of the biggest things, man. When you leave your comfort zone, a zone of home, like a lot of people, yeah, you could travel places, but people don't know the feeling. Like once you really get outside your environment and move somewhere else, you start to deprogram what you knew growing up and how people
right.
interact. Like people are different everywhere around. You know, where your
Yeah,
hometown is, everybody is not on the same pace. And sometimes that be a positive influence too to let you know that there's way more much out there to do, you
yeah.
know.
That
But
is big fan.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like, and in that point in time, I mean, I don't feel like I was ready, but it was good to get that
Okay.
experience and network, you
Yeah,
know?
when you think back on it, yeah, it's,
Yeah. Nah, I definitely built some good relationships up there, man. But
No.
um so like was it self motivation to be like determined to be a pillar in your community, or was it like individuals, in your community you looked up like to their work, like that,
Man,
influenced you?
it was man, it was a kind of both. And I can say this because it is what it is. Living in a single parent household, my mother was a single parent, so she did it by herself, you know what I mean? So I had one of those mothers along with my grandmother before 2006 that kind of set the standard. You know what I mean? She kind of told us from the jump, like, yo, I need you got to go out here, you got to be successful while you're out here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling you what you got to do, but I just know that
Yeah,
I'm rearing you the right way to go ahead and do what you got to do. I had some good role models in my life. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. I had good older guys that I looked up to. I have a brother, and I looked up to my older brother. We're 17 months apart. And so, as you can look at that, we kind of grew up like right there together. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He a couple years older. He 2 years older than me, but at the same time, we were still close. You know what I'm saying? And we still had
right.
other people that we looked up to. We had older cousins that set the standard for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We had mentors in the community, mentors in the church,
yeah.
mentors at home. They kind of set the standard for us too. They kind of let us know, like, yo, if you go out here and do something crazy, your mama not gonna be happy about that. So be careful what you do. You know what I mean? The name that you carry. One thing my mother always told me and my brother: when you step outside, not only are you representing me, but you're representing yourself, and you're representing your
Big
community.
fact.
facts.
And that kind of went with me. You know what I mean? That kind of rolled with me. And like, yo, I gotta make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's because I don't know who watching. I don't know who
Right.
looking. I don't know who watching. I don't know who might go back and have a conversation with my mama and be like, "Yo, I saw KJ out there off the chain."
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
make sure that I'm good because I make sure that my family was good. You get what I'm saying?
yeah. Now that's dope, man. Because like
Mhm.
people in your ear doing all that, man, it lets you know how important those things mean to be that way.
Yep,
You ain't got
Yeah.
nobody telling you, you just outside out the door. You just getting into whatever in the mix out there.
Yeah.
But
And then
nah, that
at the same time though, it's teaching you how to hold yourself accountable.
yep.
People.
Accountability is one thing that it taught me. How to
Right.
hold yourself accountable. Because
Yeah.
yeah, at the end of the day, yo, like we having this conversation. At the end of the day, mama not gonna always be there. Daddy
Mm-hmm.
not gonna always be there. So then you gotta be able to stand by for yourself.
Yep.
Maya
yeah,
Angelou said, stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you can fall for anything. You know what I
that
mean?
Mm-hmm.
part.
You don't want it.
Yeah,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said morals and values. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Morals and values.
Shout out TME
Oh yeah,
Word.
all good. Yeah, man.
Mhm.
A lot of people, especially in our community, man, like we lack accountability.
Very
That's
much.
why certain people move the way they move because the way they've been, grew up. They
Right.
haven't been, the people around them haven't been holding them accountable for nothing they've been doing.
Yeah,
You know
And
what I mean?
not only holding them accountable, but being in your ear and telling you, look, you gotta go out here and grind. You gotta go out here and get. You gotta go out. Like, man, that's what you gotta do. You have to be able to go out here and get it. Like me and Terry was talking this morning, and I was telling him, I was like, bro, I can still be in Etrick and still make moves. It's not one of those. It's not one of those things where I had to move and go somewhere else.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The foundation, you got the foundation at home already. You didn't have to leave and go somewhere else to figure the foundation out. You had the
Right,
foundation already there.
right. Because if I go somewhere, what if I don't have anybody in that vicinity of where I'm going that I know?
Yeah.
Facts.
Man, that's why I feel like it was with me, bro. I had to leave because I didn't have nobody setting that foundation up. So during that time, I got a lot of time to figure myself out. Nobody, no friends, no family, no nothing. So
Right.
Right.
when I'm out there in Minnesota 6 months by myself, one of my experiences, I'm my entity. I'm my own entity. I'm my own person. That let me, fuel my language, but it's almost like I hold my own nuts, like I have my own thoughts,
Right.
So that's just how I was feeling, But then you start to figure out, everything along the way. But yeah, sometimes you need that. If the foundation not, when you coming up or it's not set, you got to go somewhere else to figure it out.
Right. Right. So
Right.
I want to know, man, like, share with us, like, what was your experience like attending Virginia State College?
Woo!
Yeah, yeah.
My God. My Lord. Oh man. Shout out to the Virginia State family that's coming in and that's coming in on the podcast
Shout out to
tonight.
the Trojans.
Shout out to PSU, man. Listen, as a kid growing up, that's what I said. I said, yo, I'm going to college, but I'm going to Virginia State. And in the experience, it's like I told you, I grew up right across the street from Virginia State.
Yeah,
So
Wow.
I would be on campus as a kid, going to probates, going to basketball games, going to football games as a kid. So I'm already seeing how they get down. But as a student, I met some of the best folks in my life.
Right.
I met some lifelong friends.
Yeah.
That's how me and Terry met. We met on the campus of Virginia State, standing
the
in Foster Hall. I don't know if you remember that. We were
oh
standing in
man,
Foster Hall freshman year, and it was one of those things like you're gonna meet people through all across walks of life.
yeah,
Um, I enjoyed every moment of Virginia State. It was a different experience from growing up in the area and seeing the campus and going to the campus every day. So my experience there was good. That now that some of the students that I've taught in the past, they're now becoming students of Virginia State. So that makes me feel good that my work at Virginia State is not done. That I'm
yeah,
still laying the foundation for those that are coming behind me to still let them know that yo, you can still go to Virginia State. You can still get a good education at Virginia State. I tell anybody, one of the best schools in America, one of the best HBCUs that was ever created is the Virginia State University. I'm good with that. Um, Shout out to Virginia State University. If any administrators might be on the podcast or anything, because shout out to President Abdullah. So, yeah, Virginia State was like my home. Virginia State is like my family. I enjoyed every moment that I spent there. Um, I stayed busy. I was orientation. I was a tip leader for orientation. Um, I was I did stuff with student activities. I did stuff with the church that they got on campus. So I stayed busy to enjoy myself, to enjoy every moment that I had to enjoy my college experience.
yeah. This man literally used to be like everywhere. Like I pop up at any spot, I see this man everywhere, man. I was like, man. I tell my anything going on. I'm like, hey, I see him pass by. Like, what's up, bro?
And
But like I said,
that's
my mind frame then it was like I was getting into so much stuff, bro. Like I wasn't mentally up, man. And then like being that person from the bottom coming up there, I experienced so many different people from north. So it was like it's like a culture shock. But
Yeah. I think with college though, the biggest thing you can take from it is the relationships
oh, most
yeah,
you
that's the
definitely,
biggest
most
thing.
yeah.
definitely. If I don't take anything else,
Yeah.
I gathered from Virginia State University. I keep talking about education. The education piece was great. They got a degree to go along with it, but at the end of the day, man, the relationships, not
Yeah,
Thanks.
the friends, but relationships
Hmm.
with like professors, like what I'm saying, like class. It ain't like they call class today, or when you plan on turning that paper in, because I need that so I can grade. It was I built the relationships, man, and
Man. I always say, man, condolences to Coach Neal too, man. Like
that
that
most definitely shout out
when
to
I used to always see him, the man was trying to get me to play football, and I messed around and I had got in trouble. As soon as I got in trouble, bro, it was so different to me, man, because I'm like, you got to go to school court and all this other stuff going on. Man, it's crazy. He asked me about the incident. I remember verbatim. He asked me about it. I told him what happened. In the middle of the match, he like, hey, man. He like, what you want to come play football or something like that? I'm like, I don't know what's going on because I'm like, it's supposed to be so serious because I'm sitting on the verge of them kicking me out just straight up. Like, you ain't going to be able to come in no more. And then for the conversation just went like that, I'm like, man, I'm like, this guy, but nah, he was cool, man. It was always like you say, you got them, the networking and the relationship built out there.
man.
So it's like I felt like he seen something in me, but my mind wasn't even on that.
Yeah, it was good, bro. It was good. It was.
Yeah, so with all that being said, I'm like you said, you met a bunch of interesting people while attending state. So I would assume with you being a motivational speaker that you're an extrovert. And from my perspective, it looked like you got along with everybody. Mostly everybody that I've seen. And like, what are some of your memorable moments? As a Trojan, you
Man,
shared with people.
man,
While you was there.
it was so many memorable moments. I don't even know where to begin, man. But the
Yeah,
most memorable moment that I received at Virginia State that really did my heart good was to be able to walk across the stage to get what I came there for, and that was my degree. That
yeah,
was the most memorable moments because it gave my family an opportunity to see what I think. Not only did I come to education, but I left. So that was kind of a memorable moment for me. A couple of other memorable moments was just meeting people, man. Just being able to just to enjoy the experience of being on a campus that I've always said from a kid that I was going
yeah,
to Virginia State University. So it kind of ordered the steps of my aspiration, doing what I said I was going to do to come to fruition. You know what I mean? Full circle. You feel me? Like it was. It was like, oh, I ain't gonna go to Virginia State because I live in Ettrick. No, I'm gonna go to Virginia State because I like what you know what I mean. I saw Virginia State when it was at its lowest, and I've seen Virginia State at its highest. So I'm
yeah.
those people that Virginia State was my home. I live right there, so I had no choice but to make Virginia State my home.
That part.
Yeah,
It keeps sounding like somebody eating a bag of chips or something. I can hear it crackling a little bit. So you got your bachelor's of science in criminal justice. What made you take that route?
Honestly, I was. This is the craziest thing. I wanted to be a juvenile probation officer. I wanted to be a juvenile probation officer, and then I realized being a juvenile going to be able to having a physical disability. I didn't think that was a good move for me. So after I became a juvenile, after wanting to become a juvenile probation officer, I was like, I don't know if I want to do with this. And this was like, yo, when I realized that it wasn't going to work for me, it was 2 weeks before graduation. I was like, hey, I got to roll with what I got.
right.
Hey, so um, I got that opportunity, and when I got that opportunity to do what I needed to do to be successful, they offered me a job right before graduation. So I worked in the police department at Virginia State as a district, as a being a person that say like if y'all called into the campus police, I would be the first person that you would have talked to. So I did that for about 6 or 8 months, and I was working night shift, and I hated working night shift. I ain't even gonna tell you. I was working 11 at night to 7 in the morning. My body couldn't get used to it. So I went into then I started teaching. I was like, I don't want to. And I taught for like 3 years. And I was like, this ain't me. Can't do this no more. But
Yeah.
then I realized that, like, yo, what is it there that I want to do? And then I realized I needed to, I needed to be able to find my niche. And my niche was wanting to work on a college campus. So that's what I do now. Um,
Yeah.
but you really took a lot of routes where I am. And it's motivated. I had to take extra steps to get to where uh, so I work at it's not far from where I live, and I deal with financial aid. So if you know what financial aid is, I don't I have to tell people if they get money or not. That's the hard part.
Right.
Man, so upon graduating from state, then you continued your education at Virginia Union to obtain your master's divinity degree. Was this another accolade you needed to continue your journey of being a positive impact in other lives?
Um, yes and no, because end of the day, well, yeah, let me say yes, yes, because my ultimate goal one day is to become a hospital chaplain, and that means like to pray for people, say like if they're in the hospital and whatnot, to be able to be a hospital chaplain. So I wanted to do that because that's what I feel that God has called me to do. So that's a part of me wanting to become, that's a part of what God has called me to do, the work that He's called me to do, and being able to be a preacher. So that's some extra education that I had to get to be able to continue to make the move and it's the message that I want for my life.
Okay, then.
So like, what is the power of positivity mean?
The reason why I picked that theme, power of positivity, because in my life, I want people to see the positive in my life. I want people to see that I've overcome some multiple challenges in my life that you don't let that get in the way of not having a positive outlook on life. That's why I
Right.
picked the power of positivity. Because at the end of the day, you gotta have a positive outlook on life. You gotta be able to make things happen even when you're having bad days.
Big
A lot
time.
of people they get caught up in not wanting to be successful or wanting to be happy despite doing something wrong to them.
I feel it, man. I like that. I
Yo, is
like
it?
that.
Because this static is crazy.
That's what I was about to say. It sounds like somebody eating chips or something.
And I don't have anything around me. That's why I'm like, yo, is that static on my end?
I don't know.
It'll be all right. Yeah, so that's where the positive power of positivity came from. That I have a positive outlook on things that I do in life. I can't let somebody hurting my feelings stop me from doing the work that I've been called to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I control.
I feel it. Yeah, man. So I mean, let's get in, to this, Granderson motivational speaking LLC.
That was your purpose, and you was passionate enough, deciding that you wanted to put an LLC behind it. Like, this is my business. This is my purpose.
So you asking what was my reason for doing that?
Yeah, like, when did you realize, like, you wanted to put this together and establish
Honestly, brother, I realized it should have happened a long time ago. I'm just be
it?
trained.
Yeah.
Sometimes we move on our timing instead of moving on God's timing. It should have happened a long time ago. My LLC should have been started not this past year, not in 2021. It should have been started like in 2005, 2006, if you really want to be honest. I should have made moves a long time ago. But I didn't feel that the timing was right then. So I had to make sure I had to move when I felt the timing was right. So I've decided that like, yo, my brother, my family, my brother, my mother, my father, they would tell me, man, you need to make this a business because you always speaking for people. You always giving people advice. You need to get paid for what you do. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right. It'll happen when it happens. Whatever. I ain't pressed on. I don't. It was like, no, you need to get paid for what you do. I'm like, all right, cool. So for Christmas, my mother was like, I'm going to give you. Your Christmas gift to me is going to be a LLC. You need to go ahead and get started. You need to go ahead. You need to go ahead and get paid for the work that you put in. You need to go ahead and sit down and work out a plan, come up with a vision, and you need to allow God to do what He do. If you haven't had a chance, you can check out my website at KeithGrandersonJr.com. I'm gonna put that joint in the chat. Um,
Yeah, put it in the chat.
KeithGrandersonJr.com. You can check my website out, and if you want me to speak for you, you can book me. You can book me on my website too.
That's mad
Yo,
cool, man.
shout out to
That's
Blaze Hunter Squad.
squad. But no, for real though, that's real cool because not a lot of people's moms or even family will give people a gift of the LLC. You know what I'm saying? That's real
Yo, I'm
dope.
over the
Yo,
years, man, and I've been on this earth for 30 years. Like, yo, my mama has been my rock, and
That's
I'll
what's
tell
up.
that ain't everybody's testimony. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Everybody, that's not everybody's testimony to have that type
man.
of relationship with their mom. But I'm one to truly say that if it was not for my mother and my brother, I would not be where I am in life. Outside of doing what I needed to do to be able to complete what I needed to complete.
Real talk.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about your speaking topics. Like break them down for people when you speak of perseverance, goal setting, self worth. Your areas of specialty.
Um, if you really read, if you really think about it, they're kind of self-explanatory. Perseverance. I've persevered through many challenges in my life. You know what I mean? I've overcome some things that could have had me bound. Like I told you, I got cerebral palsy, got a physical disability. I didn't let it stop me, so I persevered through what others said that wasn't going to happen. The doctors told my mother I wasn't going to make it through the night, but I'm still here. So I persevered through that. I showed people that you can persevere through whatever you overcome. You know what I mean? You got to put your mind to it and want to do it. You know, um, goal set. You got to be able to set goals for yourself to be able to accomplish them. And I have a set of goals that I would give whoever I'm speaking to in the schools, in the churches, in the homes. You know what I mean? Wherever I'm speaking, that I have a platform where they can use on how to set goals. Self worth. I've seen me sometimes at my lowest and trying to get approval from everybody else. You ain't got to do that. You got,
I'm telling you.
you know what I mean. You got to have that self worth about who you are. You got to know who you are. You got to know yourself because if you don't know yourself, can't nobody else tell you what's out there for you to do.
Come
And
on,
so
man.
that self worth piece is mainly for my youth, the youth that I may come in contact with, to have a conversation with them about knowing themselves, knowing who they knowing how to move, knowing how to operate in their gifts. Because you got to be able to know how to operate in your gifts to be able to be successful.
Hey, man, because you just broke down our whole message on everything. Know
Yeah.
yourself.
Know
Spend that
yourself.
time with yourself.
You got to
Yeah.
spend that self care moment with yourself. It's some moments that you got to walk away from your family and spend by yourself to know who.
If you surrounded by too many people all the time, that's not gonna give you enough time to
It's not
spend with
your
yourself.
opportunity. It's,
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes a lot of us need to understand that because you need some time to step away, and because sometimes your loved ones or your friends are just your surroundings be distracting you from yourself, or distracting you from your goals or your mission. And you need to separate sometimes.
Yeah. Then it's like once you find yourself and know yourself and figure out who you are, then you start surrounding yourselves with people like you, that only progress you to move forward, not hold you back, you know.
Right.
That,
So
that is true.
with all that even being said, I mean, are there like any moments of recognition or awards that you would like to share with the listeners?
Man, um, appreciate that, but you caught me off guard with that one. But hey, that's a I do all day, so I had to be prepared for that. But
Hey, we like to do it like that, man. We gotta highlight your greatness.
yeah, man. So I'll leave you with this nugget, and it'll carry you through the weekend and probably for the rest of the week. In order to make it, you have to look back and see what you've been through. You have to understand that challenges are going to come your way, and you have to overcome them and not stand still and try to beat yourself up for what you've been through. You have to wipe yourself off, stand up, face your reality, and keep on getting up. Because at the end of the day, if you don't continue to get up, what's beating you up is going to hold you back and hold you down. And you have to understand that in life, you're going to have those moments where people don't understand what you're going through. And in those moments when people don't understand what you're going through, you have to know for yourself who you are. When you look in the mirror, you got to say, I saw, like Michael Jackson did, said, there's nothing but the man in the mirror. So sometimes we have to face our own reality. Sometimes you wonder where your problems coming from. Your problems are looking right back at you if you really think about it. Because when you stand and look in the mirror, you ain't looking at nobody else but who? Yourself.
Man.
Yourself. So I'm just leave y'all with that to know that you got to know who you are in order to move forward. If you don't know you, can't nobody else tell you about you. Ooh, that helped me. Oh my God.
Hey,
Man,
hey,
hey,
you really just gave us an answer to what we were just about to ask you next. I don't know how you knew it, but
right,
you did it. It came natural. But we needed that, man.
yeah.
So, we definitely wanted to say this for last, as a form of motivation, as you already spoke about it. Uh, we feel everybody can take heed, to it as, we all got different things going on, but one thing we have in common is none of us are perfect, which makes us equal in a sense. But you continue to have like high spirits while also having the cerebral palsy. You still able to lift up others around you. Whether you know them or not, or complete strangers. So it's like how is like your journey been with that, and like what ways to keep you like motivated and to not let you show that you down or whatever,
Man,
or not let that slow you down in a sense, because this
I'm,
is something you've been dealing with.
I'm going to leave you with this. And this is something that I always tell people. There's somebody going through something worse than you are.
Hmm.
And that shows me that no matter what I'm going through, I gotta still keep going. I still keep fighting. I still gotta continue to survive. I still gotta continue to honor what I've been created to do. The work is still needing to be done. I have to make sure that other people are getting something from my work that I'm doing. My work ain't for me. My work ain't for me. Because if it was for me, I would have kept it to myself. My work is for what I'm doing with y'all. Having a conversation so other people can hear about it. So other people can see what I've been called to do. Because if I did work for me, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't have gave you a website to look up. I wouldn't have pinned, you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? It's not for
Yeah.
me.
Oh yeah,
It's for other people to be blessed.
right.
I'm gonna do it because I know what I can do. I know what awaits me. I know my workload. But I'm here to help people understand their purpose in life.
Yeah.
And
So
your
like how,
one got to be able to know for yourself.
right. So like how that like it made you like be more determined to conquer your goals,
Oh,
push harder.
most definitely. Most definitely. Determination, I think, is my middle name for real. Determination is my middle name for real.
Right.
My family tells me I get my strength from, they get their strength from me. Because in some hard moments, I tell them that they got to look to the brighter side. Because if you can look at it, if I got a smile on my face, we all should be smiling. Because
That part.
I should be in a corner crying right now, but I'm not. I'm sitting here pouring my wisdom out to you all because I know what I've been through. And I'm not doing it for accolades. I'm not doing it to get an interview. Because Terry will tell you, when he first asked me to do it, I was like, oh, no. What'd I tell you? I was like, I don't do stuff. He was like, come on, bro. You
Yeah,
got to do it. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
yeah,
He was like, nah, you got to do it. Like, he was like, people,
Got to.
nah,
yeah,
I don't, I feel that I don't want people to think it's about me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about me. It's about to help others be successful. So that's what my whole platform is behind my motivational speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Going to schools and to make sure that the kids are getting what they need, not just on an educational standpoint, but on a spiritual aspect, without throwing my religion or throwing religion on the kids. You know,
Right, right.
speaking
Yeah.
knowledge to them because they hear all the time. They got to hear another voice.
Yeah, for real. That's like you say. It's like my partner Sly says, duality. You know, if you just if a kid just hearing from their parents all the time and don't never like really hearing anybody else putting them on something, they gonna look at it like, well, you know, whatever. They start trying to think like they just hearing it from one source until they hear it from somebody else. But yeah, man, like you know, I wanted to bring you on here to give you your flowers at the same time, you know, because the trials and tribulations, the testimonies, all that type of stuff, like we just highlight the greatness in everybody, you know, and we want to share that with listeners, everybody tuning in, you know.
Yeah.
These conversations spill a lot of gems out that people can take, you know, rather than just hearing from me and him. You get a piece of everybody that come on our
Right.
platform. So yeah, definitely want to give you flowers, man. And
And I want to tell y'all, from one black man to another black man, continue doing what you're doing. There's somebody out there that's listening. There's somebody out there that's gaining what you're giving them every Saturday at 3 o'clock. Continue doing what you're doing. Because
Definitely.
what? You could be out here doing anything, but you're out here changing lives, changing the world. One man. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to help somebody else go along.
Right.
Continue being successful. Because you know why? It's already hard enough for us as African American men out here, then it's harder for anybody else out here.
Big time.
So continue doing what you're doing.
yeah,
Continue standing when you gotta stand by yourself.
oh yeah, most definitely. I feel like a
Because
giant in the room when I'm by myself, you know.
and guess what? Sometimes it gets down to that.
Yeah,
But don't stop doing what you're doing.
most definitely. We appreciate
Don't
that, man.
stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gas, man. It's all gas. We
Yeah.
gotta keep
As
going.
as as I've heard as I was growing up, continue to put your foot to the pedal. Don't
Yeah,
let up. Break necks if you have to. Not in a literal sense, but
yeah.
Right.
break barriers if you have to.
Yeah,
Show
whole
people.
lot of barriers getting broken right
Break a
now.
whole lot of barriers.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to put that out there, and I just wanted to put that in the atmosphere. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I peek in every Saturday. Y'all might not know it, but I do. I'm and
yeah,
I've hit him up several. I've hit Terry up several times, letting him know, like, yo, I like what y'all did today. I watch every Saturday. So continue
Yeah.
doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there that continue to need to hear this message.
yeah,
Right.
Not just from me. but from y'all too.
Hey, and just to reiterate that everybody tuning in, we are now on Signature Series Network, which is a black-owned independent network. So we will be streaming. You can watch from the comfort of your couch on the TV, everything. We on TV.
Everything.
You
Wow.
know,
Right in
so
your Wuko
yeah,
TV, right in your Fire
Roku,
Stick.
Fire Stick,
Listen,
all that.
listen. See, y'all already doing it right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So it's obvious whatever Keith sets his mind to, he's disciplined, and he will get where he's destined with that. So with that being said, is there any upcoming events or projects you working on?
Yes, the upcoming events and projects that I'm working on. You said I had already received my master's in divinity degree. I'll get that in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'll have my master's in divinity degree. So,
Okay.
and then after I get that, I'm gonna sit down. Got some things I'm gonna bring out I'm gonna bring down the pipeline once I sit down and get my degree. Once I get all the other stuff behind me, some things, some projects that I've started that I want to finish and go ahead and put a stamp to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
What's up?
hey man, I also seen that you got a quote that I posted, and it's in a museum in Virginia right now, in your hometown.
It was in a museum. I was in a museum. Um, I was in a museum in Virginia from last summer to this past Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What was that quote again that you quoted that they highlighted? I was trying to remember it. It was definitely like a all in one, like what you stand for and everything.
Oh, basically what I was saying was that I'm not the work that I do isn't for me, but it's for somebody else. The work that I do, the work that me sitting here talking to y'all ain't for me. This is for the
Right.
voices that's gonna be watching this later.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you never know what somebody might need.
Yep.
No, big fact. This ain't even
That's
for us
that's how
either.
I
We
feel.
we doing
Right.
That's
this
how
for
Oh
I
yeah,
feel.
everybody.
like I just told y'all that. This ain't for
Yeah,
y'all. This ain't
Like
for
like
yeah,
y'all.
for me personally, bro, I like to be the voice of the voices. You know what I mean? And just like, my partner Tino, man, we just simply like to be here to inform, enlighten people, and just raise the frequency on the planet, bro. Just spread that positive, spread that love. You know what I'm saying? Cause we lacking that right
I'm proud of
now.
it. Continue doing what you're doing, man.
definitely. But last but not least, we ask this to every guest that we bring on to the podcast.
Oh
What
yeah.
what does being an underdog mean to you, or when you hear the word underdog?
Woo! When Tilo sent me the questions and I saw that, I was like, hey, he about to make me yes.
Ah,
What does an underdog mean to me, or what does it mean to be an underdog?
Right.
Somebody that got to come out fighting, and not fighting in a physical fight,
yeah,
but
Right.
any type of fight that they've ever been through. Have y'all ever like we're all men, so I know we all watch sports. Okay, let's take for example, a few years ago when it was a Super Bowl, and that might have been the Ravens and somebody, and they were down, and the lights went out. Y'all remember that? And
yeah.
Yeah,
I
San
remember that.
Francisco, right?
Hmm.
right, and the lights went out, and they came back and beat the. Do y'all know what the Super Bowl I'm talking about, right? And they beat the
Hmm.
Oh
brakes.
yeah.
They were losing like what 20 to like 10 at one point before halftime.
Yeah,
Right.
Came back and went off. So that makes me look at an underdog like that. That you have to come out fighting, not in a literal fight, but you got to fight. You got to fight to the end. You got to break the chains that's been holding you to show somebody else that you can still make it.
Right. That's deep. That's real deep, man.
yeah. Man, everybody got a piece of underdog in them. They just got to activate their power.
They got to activate it, baby.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Straight up.
Straight up,
Appreciate you
man.
taking your time out to come hang out with the underdogs, man. You know you're
Man,
an underdog too.
man, anytime. If y'all ever need me to come through, just let me know.
Oh yeah,
um,
most definitely,
I say
man.
ain't gonna be the last time, man. You know, we're gonna check in on you again, man, and see what you got going on. You know, putting in
Yeah,
motion.
yeah.
Just let me know.
Yo,
Mm-hmm.
before we let you go though, shout out your website once again for the people, man.
If y'all want to book me to come speak at your school, your church, any event you got going on, check out my website, keithgrandersonjr.com. It's pinned in the comments. It's
Yeah,
pinned in the comments. Again, if you need me to speak, we can discuss what you need, the type of platform that you need. We can discuss any other obligations that may have to come with that.
yeah.
Um, Young, old, middle age. If you got something that you need to be said and you need somebody to do it, I'm the person that you call. You can get my information. Look at it on the website. You can book me from my website, and we can go from there. And I'll be glad to reach out to you if I'm what you're looking for.
Definitely. Also, shout out to the sponsor, BOA, me, BCB. It's a black-owned cryptocurrency, decentralized banking, 40 acres in a mule. So make sure you head over to BOAMDCB on Instagram and check them out for some more information. Once again, we are live on Signature Series Network. That's Signature Series Network with a Z, TV.com. And you can catch the Underdog podcast, catch up on all the older episodes.
All of them.
Yup. Currently on the Indie TV talk show as we speak. But yeah, man, y'all continue having motion, man, and we doing what we doing over here. But like I say, man,
Yeah,
it was a pleasure having you on, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
no doubt. And to the listeners, man, the underdog. Make sure y'all go check out the Underdogs EP. It's streaming everywhere and coming soon, real soon, to a TV near you. The organic video, atheletes, myself, dropping May 15th. So y'all look forward to that. And we hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Peace, love, light, and healing.
Definitely.
Safe.
Keep motion. Check in with y'all later, man.
Peace.
Safe.